Hey guys, it's not Lammers of Invoked 101. Please ignore my wet hair for right now. But I do want to talk about something, and that is the ban list. We're in ban list season, and you know, it's no longer November 20th, so hopefully we'll be getting a ban list soon. And I just want to talk about something, some stuff that I would like to see either come off or go on to the ban list. Stuff that needs hit in the meta, in my opinion, and stuff that should have been hit in the meta in the last ban list, because realistically the last ban list didn't do a whole lot for the meta. It kind of stayed the same and then evolved a little bit and then kind of has continued to be the same. So I would like to talk about some stuff that I want hit, and also a couple cards that I think realistically should come off at this point, because stuff got hit that makes those other things come off. As always, if you guys want to support me and the channel, consider backing me on Patreon. There's a link in the description below, because all of that will go to making more consistent content and better content and more deck profiles for you guys. So if you guys are feeling up for it, there's a link in the description below and you guys can just click that. Anyways, without further ado, let's talk about card number one. And this is the card that everyone's talking about. It's a card that everyone knows should be hit and everyone wants to get hit. That's Firewall Dragon. Firewall Dragon is one of those cards that just creates a format based around it realistically. There's and to a degree we kind of have a bunch of format. We've had issues with Firewall becoming a big problem in the past and even currently, with many FTKs enabled by Firewall Dragon. And sure, you can hit stuff like A Assault Core, and you can hit stuff like the plant that enabled an FTK, but we don't have a real solution unless Firewall is banned. Or you could ban the Cannon Soldiers and the other tribute to burn your opponent cards, like Amazoness Archer and the Spellcaster one. So, I mean, you could do that, but realistically it's easier just to hit Firewall. So that's the first one I think should go. Next up is one that I think could come off the list a little bit. So currently Speedroid Terrortop is at 1. I think it should come to 2. Much like in the OCG, Speedroid Terrortop was, I believe, limited for a while, and now he's at 2, and it's not doing too much over there. So it's really just a buff to Speedroids at this point, because the reason Speedroid Terrortop was put on the list in the first place was because of MX Saber Invoker. And with MX Saber Invoker gone, we can have Terrortop back. It's simple as that. So that's just a card I think should come off the list. Next up is something that I think should have been hit a while back, and that's Trickstars. And there's really two ways you can go about hitting Trickstars. You can either hit, some people say Light Stage to 1, some people say Reincarnation to 1, and some people say to just ban Droll and Lock. So any of those three cards could go. But I think Reincarnation realistically should just go to 1. Trickstars have card destruction now at their disposal, so they'll basically have two Trickstar Reincarnations anyways. Just one is a spell card and doesn't give them a Monster Reborn during the opponent's turn. I think that Trickstar Reincarnation is a card that should have been hit way before this ban list that we're discussing, and should have been something that was hit on the ban list after they came out. Trickstars haven't been addressed on any ban list since their release, unlike Gokis, which got a check from Nightmare Goblin and a couple other cards with MX Saber Invoker. Trickstars really haven't gotten that. They in fact got a lot stronger, because you can play Mech Knight Trickstars and you can play Sky Striker Trickstars, which they'll be on the list too. Give me a minute. But yeah, so I think Trickstar Reincarnation should just go to 1 or ban it altogether, because it's kind of a degenerate card. Or you could go the other route and hit Light Stage or Droll and Lock. So going back, another card I think could possibly come off the list, at least at 1, is Skullcrabat Joker. This is a Pendulum Magician card that got hit when Astrograph got hit. With 1 Electromite, it's a lot harder for Pendulum Magicians to keep competing. They've basically done everything they can to prevent Pendulum Magician's success, but they still do see some fringe play, and they are a fan favorite deck. So giving them back at least 1 Skullcrabat Joker, I think would help out that deck just enough to make it semi-viable again, because right now it is a little tough to play. But But so yeah, Skullcrobat Joker can go to 1. All right, let's talk about another card that needs hit. So Sky Strikers. Sky Strikers is another deck that needs hit, and realistically, there's 2 cards on my mind that I can think of when it comes to hitting Sky Strikers, and that's Kagari or Engage. Kagari either needs to be banned or Engage needs to go to 1. Engage at 1 would make it so that way if you Ash the Engage and they go into Kagari, that they have to grab the Engage off the Kagari, and you can effect Veiler it, and unless they have Called by the Grave or whatever, and they can't stop it, or, you know, Infinite Impermanence them and they can't stop it in the first place, which would make the deck so much more fair to go against because you would be able to hit one of their big playmakers. And removing Kagari from the situation would make them rely more on Shizuku, so that way they'd have to grab it in the end phase if they did get their Engage off. It's just one of those things that, like, it would balance the deck in such a way. I think over in Japan they hit Widow Anchor to 1, which realistically wouldn't do much because they can still grab the Widow Anchor off of not Jamming Waves. Actually, it might be Jamming Waves. I forget which one the one that sets 3 in the back row, that one. And they could also still grab it off Kagari, so it doesn't matter what it would do. But I think that if you hit Kagari to none or you hit Engage to 1, it would make the deck just a lot more fair and a lot more balanced, because Sky Strikers, kind of like Gazoo, have a lot of issues and you have to hit a few things before they stop being good or stop being too competitive. I don't really have another card to take off right now, so we're going to talk about Goki. I think Gokis realistically only have 1 card that can get hit because they're not going to hit a Sold and they're not going to hit Summon Sorceress. Those are coming out in a special edition in December, so those aren't getting hit. And also they would be importing Summon Sorceress into Europe, so they don't want to hit Summon Sorceress. So real talk, I think Goki Rematch should probably go. If they're not going to get rid of Firewall, Goki Rematch should probably get hit. It's a tiny Soul Charge that's searchable for the deck, so if they don't draw Soul Charge, they'll just use Goki Rematch and put 2 more monsters on board. I think that getting rid of Goki Rematch to 0 would definitely help balance the deck out a lot more and put it into a situation where they have to figure out what to do without using that rematch and rely more on their searches and take more careful plays. And yes, some people may say, well, Goki Rematch isn't going to do anything. If you hit Goki Rematch, it's not going to do anything. I think that it's one of the few cards you can actually hit from the actual Goki deck that would hurt the Goki plays, because realistically, Gokis just rely on Firewall Dragon and the Extra Link to do what they do. And Rematch is one of those things that pushes them into the next level of play. So I think hitting Rematch would be the way to stop them. Lastly is Altergeist and Thunder Dragons. So we're going to talk about Altergeist real quick. Altergeist is a real simple solution. Japan, they put Multi-Faker to 2. It didn't really do anything. Put Meluseek to 1, and it will do something, because they lose their Searcher and they don't have as much advantage to gain off of that Meluseek. So if you put Meluseek to 1, it balances the deck a lot more and stops their plays. But yeah, so Multi-Faker isn't as big of an issue if you remove the fact that you can just pop stuff and search stuff with Meluseek. They have to hard draw that Meluseek at that point. So yeah, I think that's one way to go about it. And then Thunder Dragons. Thunder Dragons, I haven't had the opportunity to play against a lot yet. But from what it looks like Golden Sarcophagus might be the way to hit this deck. Either putting it at 1 or straight banning it, I think would be the easiest route. But it's one of those decks that I think is also too new to hit. So I don't think they're really gonna hit Thunder Dragons anyway. I think they're gonna let those play out, especially since there's a pretty decent amount of counters against them. Real quick, we're gonna address the FTK problem. There are 2 FTKs in the format right now, and that is the Danger Dark World FTK that revolves around using Firewall and Grapha to burn the opponent to death, and the Flare Metal Zephyra FTK. So with the Flare Metal Zephyra FTK, it's a real simple solution. Ban Gelen Duo. Just get rid of it. It's the card that allows you to continuously activate. It won't piss off the Red Eyes players. It'll kill the FTK. It is the perfect solution. So just get rid of Gelen Duo and there you go. With the Grapha Dark World Danger FTK, they're not going to hit the Dangers, which is really unfortunate, which means that they're either going to hit Armageddon Knight and Dark Grepher, or they're going to hit Grapha himself, and I honestly would not be surprised if they just straight up banned Grapha because of the FTKs. Which is really sad, because I have some friends who are Dark World players, so I would hate for their like boss monster from their structure deck to get hit, especially since Konami has been going through and redoing all the old structure decks, which means that at some point Dark Worlds are going to be up. And it's kind of unfortunate to think that Graph is going to not be in that structure deck. So I don't know what they're going to do. If they hit Firewall, then they don't have to hit the Danger Dark World FTK, because then Firewall will be gone, but you could probably still do it without the Danger Dark World FTK. Armageddon Knight and Dark Grepher are cards that should probably be addressed, but it's just the fact that all this new dark stuff is abusing them. It's not really their fault for poor card design on Konami's part. Zefra, and like I said, the Zefra Flare Metal FTK with the Red Eyes Xyz monster is all because of Summon Sorceress and some weird level 5 fairy. So if you ban the fairy, then you're good. Or you could just ban a Gave Dragon, a common from, I think it's Soul Fusion or Cybernetic Horizon. It's a common card from some set. No one will care if it goes. So yeah, there you go. Those are my predictions for the ban list. That's what I think is going to happen on the ban list, and those are the cards I'd like to see come off and go on to the ban list. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.